China and Shanghai, home to over 24 million people, the world's third largest city, which sits aside the Yangtze River, and this week plays host to the third stage of this year's Longines Global Champions Tour for its only stop in the Far East at the fabulous, purpose-built Shanghai International Equestrian Centre, boasting unrivaled facilities for horse, rider and spectators, and where in 2024, in its inaugural year, the Shanghai Swans took the team honours with Daniel Deusser and Piers Schweiter in the saddle. And it really is the most fabulous venue. Welcome to Shanghai for what should be a fabulous afternoon sport, a really difficult looking competition. Welcome, I'm Rupert Bell, delighted to be here in Shanghai for my first visit, but I'm also delighted to say, without further ado, I do have to introduce show jumping royalty. I feel very privileged in my first moment with the Global Champions Tour to be, well, I've interviewed them all over many years, but I'm delighted to say Ben Mayer, Max Kuhner and Daniel Deusser, who I just referenced there, last year's winning rider along with Piers Schweiter. Max, Ben, welcome. I'll start with you, Max, as the, I suppose, the team captain. This is a great venue. You've got fond memories, Daniel has, but managing these two, is it easy?
Yes, it's easy. Okay, with these guys, it's indeed quite easy. It's not a decision by our team captain. It's always a decision we make together. They have the best feeling about themselves and the horses and how fit they are. And so we put our information together and then we find a team.
So you've come up with your decision. Now, Daniel, you, as I mentioned, you were part of the winning team here last year, competing here for the first time. My first visit, it takes your breath away. This is some arena for you guys to be jumping in.
Absolutely. This year we know what we had to expect. For all of us, it was the first time last year, first event, first show here at a beautiful stadium. Yeah, like you said, it was impressive. Infrastructure here is really, really great. For horses, for riders, for the grooms. They thought about everything. And when you have a long flight like that to a new venue, you don't always expect something like that.
How is the jet lag?
That's okay, actually.
Ben, how is the jet lag? I mean, okay, you've got a small child, so you're probably up most nights anyway, so you don't sleep through the night anyway. But Ben, welcome here. How impressed are you with what we've got going on here?
Yeah, like Daniel said, it's my first time here. I wasn't here last year, but the facilities, air-conditioned stabling for the horses, warm-up arenas also air-conditioned, so yeah. Amazing conditions and a long way to come, but certainly worth it once we're here.
When you're planning your calendar, this is, as you say, it's a long way to come for riders. When it comes to the horses, when do you suddenly start thinking, right, these, and when you've sort of decided you're going to go to Shanghai, how long ago were you thinking, right, I've got to prepare these two horses I'm bringing? How long was your lead up here?
There's a lot involved behind the scenes, paperwork, traveling organization, but it doesn't take as long as you think, probably a month to 6 weeks in advance. We always have horses on standby in case something goes wrong, or a reserve team member. But yeah, there's a big team that gets us here, and we have the hard job once we're here, but there's plenty of people that help us to get
and for you, Max, when you suddenly see you've got Daniel and Ben coming, you know that you as a team are going to be the team to beat, however competitive it looks. Do you just go, it's another competition, I can take it in my stride, or does it feel a bit more difficult this afternoon?
No, not actually. I think it's like we just give our best in every single class and every single ride, try to do the best, and then we see what comes out. Okay.
Well, just finally, looking at the competition this afternoon, does this feel more difficult, or do you just you are completely confident in your lineup this afternoon?
I'm quite confident. I mean, we have fantastic riders here. We have fantastic horses with us, and now we just have to deliver.
Yep. the easiest team meeting of everybody. But there we go. So best of luck this afternoon. I know, but Max, you were in Mexico 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think it was, but it was fantastic. Let's just take a look back at what the Shanghai Swans did in Mexico when Max came away victorious.
Delighted to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to GCL Round 2, second leg of the 2025 season here in Mexico City. This incredible Campo Marte festival atmosphere. Maximilian Weishaupt gets away. New draft into Ludger Beerbaum's team this year, but they falter into the GMP Seguros treble combination. The team now to try and remedy the disappointing start of their year. In Doha, they were 10th, and Madrid in motion. Michael, the takeoff point. Performances that this man churns out week in, week out are quite... Michael comes home, and it will be a time penalty as well. Shanghai Swans. And Max Kühne to maybe win 3 times here in Mexico City. The last fence for Max Kühne. What an afternoon for the pair for Austria and the man for Germany. Shanghai Swans come home with a stunning exhibition. The season's champions last year, having won 4 legs. Kansas are on the attack here. Conquidam comes to the GNP Seguros line. No. Got a little bit out of Santa's hand just on the approach to the triple.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I mean, it's like my first global tour, and then win already. Like that's amazing feeling, and I'm very proud of my horses and my team.
Great to be here in Mexico again, and great to be on the podium, and very happy with the start of Katarina. Such a performance for the start, incredible.
Great scenes at the end of stage 2 in Mexico City, with the Shanghai Swans coming out on top. But let's take a look at how it's unraveling. We feel today that things might actually begin to have a sort of pattern developing. But after the first 2 stages, it's been all about Cannes Stars, because they are at the top of the standings after the leg 2 in Mexico with 55 points. Shanghai Swans with that win moving up the leaderboard, then Prague Lions. So that's looking at 1 or 2 teams need to sort of find their stride. Maybe New York Empire, Valkenswaard United will be looking to try and get up the leaderboard after today's competition. But it's such a difficult looking lineup for all the teams to try and step their mark. Let's look at the final standings, the ones who are propping up the table, and we're looking for a big afternoon here in Shanghai, because you see the Doha Falcons sitting in 10th, down to the Paris Panthers in 17th place. But I'd say 1 or 2 teams there, Scandinavian Vikings, Istanbul Warriors, will be looking for a strong showing this afternoon. But the scene is getting set, the course walk is being completed. But as I mentioned, this is just the most fascinating, hustling, bustling city. And let's go and get a flavour of what makes Shanghai so special. And who better than one of the Chinese riders competing here this afternoon? We sent Chun Yung Peng out to discover and show us the delights of Shanghai.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Qingyu Peng. Peng Qingyu, which is my Chinese name. I ride for Stockholm Park this year, and I'll show you around the city. Welcome to Shanghai. They asked me what kind of horse you're riding, or what do you do with the horse. Did you do racing or something like that? Now it's probably better. Everyone knows how to watch the sport and know the rules, and they all very excited to see the horses. Every time we jump the combination, everyone is like, whoa, and clap the hands. So here we are. That used to be a broadcast tower. I mean, 2-3 years ago, I come to Shanghai. I grew up in Guangdong, south of China. And this river is called Huangpu River. It's one of the famous rivers in Shanghai. It's getting to know the teammates, and they are all very good riders. Always learn something from those people. Good riders and good horses come to China. It's very proud and also very good for the sports. Still trying to get to know the horse. I bought him from Peter de Vos. I'm trying to do less every day, like just less is more, less phone, less meeting people, less get focus and be with myself more.
Well, it just does take your breath away when you come here. And Chin Yong-pung then describing the delights of this city, as I say, with a population of 24 million people, but so much on offer here, and we have the world's best show jumpers in town to entertain us over the next few hours or so. Let's take a look at the start list, because I have to say, I was looking through it and I'm thinking, right, who is going to win this? Because it looks so very difficult. We've obviously heard from the Shanghai Swans, who obviously think they're going to be the team to beat, but that's taking a look there. Saint-Tropez Pirates, they'll be kicking off proceedings. Some of the big names in that first section 9. There will be an interval after the 9th team in, which is Shanghai Swans, but look at some of the others there. Stockholm Hearts, Madrid in Motion, they'll be looking for a good afternoon. Then we have an interval, but in the second section of this first round, New York Empire will be kicking off proceedings down to Riesenbeck International. So that is the start list. And I have to say, as I just mentioned, you look through and you think, who's actually going to win this afternoon? Well, I know he's done lots of research here this afternoon, because it seems appropriate to put the pressure on our commentator. He's been to the first 2 rounds in Doha and in Mexico, so he knows the lay of the land. Ed, delighted to see you. I never thought in all the years that we've been working together, we'd meet together in Shanghai. That sounds like a movie, but you know what I mean, Ed.
Yes, Rupert, it's special to be here, and what a stadium. The Just International Equestrian Arena is breathtaking. It's a jewel, so I'm delighted to be here, and we have a fascinating competition this afternoon.
Now, we heard from Shanghai Swans, and looking at what they're doing first up, Ben Mayer and Max Kuhner, Daniel Deusser sitting out. When you're going through and doing your research, are they the team to beat, or do you look around and think there may just be 1 or 2 others who could have an impact?
This sport, Rupert, is born of surprises. That is the exciting thing here. There's so many quality champions, but there's young stars. The likes of Zoe Conter caught my in Mexico City, and the Mexico Amigos are great in Doha. So I don't think you can just look to Shanghai Swans. I think it's still open. Can Stars have been devastating. Last year's champions, first in Doha, second in Mexico. They are the informed team. They've got momentum. So I think trying to pick a winner is a fool's errand, really. It's open. It's going to be dynamic, and I think the track set by Peter Grant leads us into it's fair, but I think anything could happen.
That sounds like you're sitting on the fence, and I don't do fence sitting, Ed, okay?
I'm deeply on the fence. I'm squarely on it.
Well, no, I've got to try. So, right, okay, then I want the top 4 then. If you're not going to give me the winner, who do you think are the most competitive-looking teams? You mentioned the heady mix of the young riders, vastly experienced. You know, we've got Henrik von Eckermann coming out. You know, you look through, it's mouth-watering what could be on show this afternoon.
Yes, I mean, I would say Istanbul Warriors are going to be interesting. Scandinavian this year, huge Grand Prix, and Simon de Lestre had a win with that horse in Mexico City. It's a young horse, Golden Boy, but I think they could be dangerous. Can Stars, they got Messi van der Reutershoff, Jana Friederike Meyer-Zimmermann's great veteran. Natalie Dean looks so good in Mexico City with a Kota M. The first round clear, Rupert, was just kind of effortless. So I think Can Stars, I'm looking at Istanbul Warriors here, but Prague Lions, they were second in Doha.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Now, the one rider, though, I know you know, we're going to hear from him shortly, is Victor Bettendorf. Interesting, after such a breakthrough year, and here he is competing. How exciting for him, competing for Madrid in Motion.
Yeah, he's a very calm character, but he's devastatingly effective, Rupert. He's got this kind of disposition which the great horsemen have of being unruffled. Yet when it comes down to the wire, this man can deliver, as we saw in the playoffs, and we saw with the Rome Grand Prix win with Foxy de la Roque. So Victor, he's got a new team of horses. Talked to him yesterday. He's excited to be here, but yeah, again, he's a man to always watch.
Ed, looking forward to hearing your commentary this afternoon. We're also going to send you out on the course to give us your thoughts on what the riders are going to be competing against. But we mentioned Victor Bettendorf. What a breakthrough end it was. He's now competing for Madrid in Motion, and it's a big moment for him as he now joins the various teams here this afternoon, and he is now with Dan Strange.
Yeah, I'm down here with Victor Bettendorf. Victor, last season, 2024, was a real breakout season for you. All started with that win in Rome as a wild card. How did the season change your career?
I think that was one of my biggest wins last year, or in my whole career. To get the chance to win a golden ticket for the super final was just more than a dream, and then to win it was, I still today I don't really realize, I think, what it really meant to my career.
It took the sport a little bit as a shock. I sense it took you by surprise as well. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's the least we can say. It was, actually the mare jumped amazing the whole season, but that she would turn out to jump these heights and to be competitive as she did, it's just, it was a dream come true.
The mare you referenced, Foxy de la Roque, sensational for you. What was that partnership like? Obviously, she's now been sold.
I knew her in and out because I rode her since she was 6. It was a homebred mare, so I knew her very well. We made a very special partnership together, I think. When I was sitting on her, everything felt really, really easy. So, it's a feeling I hope I will find again with another horse, but it was a really special bond.
So the success of last year leads to the obvious move, the badge of honour, you moving to Madrid in Motion, joining the GCL. How excited are you for this move and to join them this weekend in Shanghai?
I hope it will be good for me. I know for me it's a big chance, but now I want to help the team and to do as many clearances as I can. I think the horses I have now for the big class are not ready like they may have been last year, but my first priority is to do good for the team, so I'll try to do 2 clear rounds today and then to step up a bit during the season.
You're jumping this weekend with Edu Aznar and with Manuel Salo as well. What conversations have gone on with you and them so far?
Actually, not so much. I try to be to try to find my place in the team. These both guys have so much experience, so I will just try to do whatever they tell me to do and to try to do my best.
Well, have a great weekend here in Shanghai, and who knows, we may have another surprise from you and the Madrid in Motion team. Victor, thanks for your time and good luck as well. Back to you in the studio.
Well, best of luck to Victor, because he will be in the 5th team going in this afternoon's first round, and when he goes in the Madrid in Motion. So a big day for him, I have to say. It was just a fabulous end of the year with those victories coming bursting out of the pack in Rome and then obviously in Riyadh. Well, what of now? It's forget what happened last year. We're only concerned now with the 2025 Longines Global Champions Tour. This is stage 3. Course is set. We've heard from Ed, the fence sitter Ed. He wouldn't predict who's going to win, but now let's go and join him and find out what he thinks the course is going to ride like this afternoon.
Thank you, Rupert. We now look at the course of Peter Grant from Canada for leg 3 here in Shanghai, GCL round 1. It's a fascinating course overall, 12 fences out on the track. There's a lot of questions. This is the last line they'll face. The Bao Young vertical is 155 tall at fence 10. They then run down on 7 strides to 11A and B. It is the GCL double combination, 1 stride in the middle of here, and then the home turn comes back to the Longines fence number 12. There are 3 doubles out on the course afternoon. No track combination. The first double is at the back of the arena. This is the beautiful Yas International Equestrian Centre. It is 5A and B, 2 tall verticals on 1 stride apiece. I'm very interested by the line here between 6 and 7. 150 by 155 in width is the Shanghai Liverpool. Then down on 6 strides, there's Global Champions vertical, fence number 7. The added difficulty is it is a plank after a big power fence. That will come down a lot this afternoon, I predict. They then turn to the middle double combination. That is 8A and B on the far side in the shade at the moment, unlike the rest of the arena in the bright Chinese sunshine, and it's 2 strides in between the double combination. There's no real sort of bogey points on this course. There's problems all around it. In the riders' opinions, the team managers' opinions, it's a fair, clear test, but it's very big. There's plenty to do, and we are getting quite intense here in the season, so things are ramping up in pressure terms. I think it's a great test this afternoon. So, yes, thank you, Rupert. Back to you. We can't Wait to see how this unfolds this afternoon.
Well, he alluded to the fabulous sunshine, I have to say. It is just a beautiful afternoon. We're luckily in the shade, spectators in the shade, but it will be pretty hot out there. But what is fantastic is we've got some brothers competing and a really interesting prospect this afternoon. And we can head down now to Dan, who's out and about. We're getting ready, the arena being cleared, but they're still in there. And let's go and rejoin Dan, because you've got a couple of Weisshaups with you.
I have, very much so, Rupert. Thank you. I've got Max and I've got Philip Weishaupt here from Riesenbeck International. Now, Max, in Mexico, you said to Rosie at the end of the Mexico leg of the GCL that Philip would have some feedback for you. What was the feedback?
Yeah, we had a good show there in Mexico. We were actually pretty happy. Of course, he kicked my ass a little bit because I did one or two mistakes. But in the end, we were really happy. It was really good. Good show for us.
You grabbed the mic off me saying that you were the better looking brother. Philip, you're the older brother by 4 years. You ride here together for the first time in the GCL. What advice do you bring as potentially the more experienced rider of the two Weishaupt brothers?
To be honest, for the moment, we are enjoying a little bit the moment. It's a proud moment. I mean, also I think for our parents, bringing us up here for the last 39 or 34 years, and now being here in one of the biggest show in the world, riding one of the most prestigious class together with my brother makes me a little proud. And I mean, he's not young anymore, but he's still my little brother. He will always stay my little brother. And definitely now today we are both more motivated than ever to make sure we are on the podium and maybe also to win. That would be a dream. I just told them, make sure we are good today for the picture. It will be cool. Both of us are in the podium. So we will be motivated, and we see where we end in the end.
Max, when you were growing up, and obviously a 5-year age difference, what was the biggest thing you took from watching how Philip rode and how Philip grew within his career?
Of course, I learned a lot. Taught me a lot. Still, it's really difficult because he has so much talent, and he cannot really tell you what he's doing. But I'm trying to catch up a little bit, and of course, it's always fun to look at his riding, and it's a pleasure.
Max might have a wry smile here. I need to talk about last year when, of course, Riesenbeck International were eliminated here in Shanghai. So, Philip, today, a chance for redemption. What are you looking to achieve as a team? And looking back on last year, how do you want to rectify things?
Like I said, last year was a bad year for us. Was a really bad class. Normally we were quite consistent over the years, but that was actually, you just reminded me now. I forgot about it last year. I tried to get it out of my head. No, it's like I said, it's out of our head, and we have to look forward. And like I said, for sure, podium is our goal, and as higher on the podium, as better.
Team strategy, has it been left between you two to have the conversations, or is that going down to Luca?
Of course, Luca is involved. He's giving us advice, and of course we talk to him. So in the end, it's up to him. He's the boss.
Guys, to you both today, congratulations on both representing Riesenbeck International as brothers, and good luck as well. Rupert, it's a fascinating competition to come down here, so many different stories. Let's see, can the brothers be best here in Shanghai?
Well, they will be last to go. Thank you, Dan. I know you're going to be pretty busy, so great to see the brothers here. The Riesenbeck International, as they say, they will be the last team into the arena. 17 will be their pitch. Maximilian Weishaupt and Philip both in this first round, so it will be interesting to see how they get on. No pressure on them. Well, of course, we've got a couple of brothers competing on the same team. That seems all right. But what do you do when you've got a husband and wife who then ride for different teams? They are Angelika and Marlon Zanatelli. We've got Marlon in the Basel Cosmopolitans, and we've got Angelika representing the Monaco Comets. Well, earlier, Dan spoke to the pair of them. Well, I hope we're going to have to hear from them, but I have to say, looking out in the arena, it's now being cleared and getting ready for this afternoon, and obviously just looking at the competition, And just remind us of the start list that we have here this afternoon. And it is certainly going to be an interesting one. We start with the Saint-Tropez Pirates. They kick off the proceedings, and they'll be looking to just try and set a bit of a marker for the rest of the team, see how it shapes up. Doha Falcons. Some big combinations, though, coming out. We heard Ed talking about Zoe Conta as a possibility of showing some afternoon for the Mexico Amigos, if they are powered by H&S Stables. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Then we look at Madrid in Motion. We heard from Victor Bettendorf. They will be the 5th team into the arena here. Big moment for him. Looking further down, as I mentioned, Shanghai Swans, who will be kicking off with Ben and Max. That's Ben Mayer and Max Kuhner. Prior to that, we'll also see the Scandinavia and Vikings. They'll be coming in with Juv Reiling amongst their riders in this first round. Then we have a gap, and then we see Dennis Lynch, who's had a solid start to the campaign, and Scott Brash. And they will certainly be hoping for a big afternoon. Let's now go and rejoin Dan for Out and About and in the... let's go and rejoin Dan. I'm not sure exactly where he is. I think I can probably see him down by the in and out gate, but let's go and rejoin Dan.
Yeah, we're here at the in-and-out gate with former world #1 Henrik von Eckermann, now rider for the Istanbul Warriors, powered by Carpe Diem. Henrik, your first time on tour this season and for the Istanbul Warriors. What are your expectations today?
They are high. It's me and Simon in the team, so I think we have a good team and a good chance. I'm riding Iliana, so I will see.
Iliana, at this height especially, is in really, really good form. I think 5 from 8 clear rounds at 155. So in terms of, you're not riding King Edward in the GCL today, but you've still got that quality of horse behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. And she is very, very quick as well. And she's a horse that feel more comfortable to go in a higher pace. So that's a nice feeling to go in the ring with.
Looking at the course today, how did you feel it walked? What's your expectation?
No, it's a very flowing course. That means, you know, it's no turnbacks. It's everything is just set to go with the flow. Hopefully I find that flow as well. And yeah, we'll see.
Losing the white armband, the world #1, I saw your stuff on social media this week. Obviously, do you feel bad about it, or does it drive you forward more? I imagine with you it's more motivation.
No, it's a motivation, and it's something, maybe sounds stupid, but it sounds like it's the beginning of something new. And, you know, I have a few horses coming underneath, and I need to build a strong group, and looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking forward as ever to seeing you ride here today. Good luck with your new team, Istanbul Warriors. Henrik, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And it'll be great to see you and Iliana go. Rupert, it's really exciting down here. There has been so many opinions. A fair course has been the main opinion. Scott Brash, though, was the word of warning from New York Empire. As he said, there'll be plenty of faults across the course. Rupert, back up to you in the studio.
So, Dan, just sort of alluding to that, you mentioned about the possibility of it being a fair, but 1 or 2 riders giving that. And if Scott Brash says there may be problems, that is cause for, I'm not saying alarm, but certainly if he's worried, then maybe 1 or 2 others need to be worried.
Yeah, it was a lot of interesting conversations because Andreas Scow for Basel Cosmopolitans, he was the first to allude to me earlier on about the shadows in the arena and how the shadow changes and that could cause problems. Many riders were saying about the fairness of the course and that it's a nice one to ease their way into the weekend. But as you said, Scott was kind of the word of reason, I suppose. He went, there's plenty of faults out there here. It's not a simple course to jump. As you say, when the likes of Scott Brash have that opinion, you know, you have to listen. It's one of those courses where the fact that there are long distances between the fences could suit some, could suit others. How that'll play, whether that'll cause problems with the timings, we wait to see. But what Peter Grant's put out here today, clearly some riders think is testing and others don't.
Dan, Thank you for that. So we're on for a real little treat here this afternoon. Food for thought then for all the riders as they complete their last-minute preparations before we get underway in a few moments' time. Let's just take a look at the standings then that we have so far, just to remind you where it's unravelling after the first two. It's a long season, of course. We go throughout the year, and it's going to be lots of jockeying for position, I suppose, in many ways, but there's no two ways about it. The Cannes Stars have got off to an absolute flyer, and then Shanghai Swans after their win in Mexico, the Prague Lions, Monaco Comets, they look to be the all gone well. Riesenbeck International with the Weishaupt brothers representing them this afternoon. They too will be in for a bold showing. So lots to play for, but after this third stage, you may begin to feel a sort of pattern starting to develop as the season unfolds. Well, currently in 7th place, we have the Mexico Amigos. Let's hear from them as they hope to improve on their current position in the standings.
Our couples theme today, we've got engaged couple from the Mexico Amigos powered by H5, Carlos Hank Guerra and Zoe Conter, to just react to the course. Carlos, you and Zoe have walked around together, you've talked it through as a pair. What's your view of the course? How do you think it'll ride?
I think it's a super course, very fair the whole way around. Obviously the material here is very delicate, so very light fences, short poles. I think every combination needs to be aware of that and give the horses space, but overall a very nice course.
Zoe, a lot of the fences are a long distance apart. How does that suit your horse?
Pretty good. My horse naturally has a lot of energy, so she travels very nicely, which actually suits me perfectly. I can just let her go a little bit in her canter. And yeah, like Carlos said, it's a really good course, especially for the first big class of the week, first class in general. I think it will suit a lot of horses well today.
It's a bright sunny day out here, as the sunglasses would attest to, but around the edge of the arena there is this shadow. That's been mentioned a couple of times. Carlos, you mentioned it to me a minute ago. How do you think that could play into the later parts of the round?
Yeah, we've been here the last couple of days and it changes a lot with the stadium roof and obviously the sun moving throughout the day. So I think some horses could be affected by it. We're not sure until we really get out there, but hopefully not so much.
Both of you, thanks so much for your time. Good luck to Mexico Amigos from their home show in Mexico, now here in Shanghai. Let's see how they go. Rupert, back over to you.
Well, we made sure Dan's had a sweaty afternoon already. We made him run around getting lots of interviews, but giving a sense of what we're in store for this afternoon. Could be a really fascinating combination. I think it's going to be hold on to your hats, because all things could change, not only from what happens in the first round, but then later on when there will be the changes to the team lineups and what could happen in round 2. And I think we're in for a very competitive competition over the next 3 or 4 hours. Really looking forward to seeing how it develops. And of course it will be getting underway very shortly here with the crowd moving in. There's a wonderful hospitality area behind me as they start to get ready for this, our first competition here this afternoon. Really looking forward to it. Don't go away.
Delighted to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. This, the mighty skyline of Shanghai, the third largest city worldwide, that greets us for leg 3 of the Longines Global Champions Tour 2025 in our 19th season and a 9th GCL season. This is the US International Equestrian Centre that was finished in 2023 under the LGCT specifications alongside the FVI, and it is majestic. It's simply an amphitheatre. It feels like one of the most special arenas you've been in, purpose-built for the horses. The conditions are superb here. And we've had some battles already in Doha and in Mexico. We come to the other side of the globe, from the Americas to China. And This city, well, it's bustling. It's over 25 million, the inhabitants that live here. And it's springtime here in China. It's a warm afternoon, 27 degrees. There's a little light breeze, but it is perfect for the horses. And we are set for a wonderful afternoon of world-class sport here. We're on the Yangtze River. That is the huge river that courses inland. We're on the very far eastern border of China that meets the sea line. We go due west, actually, back towards the likes of Beijing. We go south to Guangzhou. And the course set by Peter Grant this afternoon. We can't wait because it looks like a fascinating test. That is the man from Canada at the helm of the course team. And a long course, 535 meters, so up over half a kilometer. And 86 seconds, the time allowed for this 155 tall track. It is GCL round 1. We have the batch of individuals to come prior to the 17 teams getting started. And this was sold out last year, and already they've been coming in their droves from Shanghai to take their seats in this superb modern amphitheatre. There's a hustle, there's a bustle, there's a buzz about Shanghai, and yeah, that man, world number 1, Henrik von Eckermann, comes in for Istanbul Warriors. And a lot of talk about the course. That's Qin Yu Pang, the Chinese rider, looking up at the big ox. Our Can Stars have been phenomenal. They won in Doha, and they were second in Mexico City. They are the informed team, last year's season's champions. And that is Michael Duffy. He'll start this afternoon. He is brilliant, the young Irishman. But what a location, what a venue, as we take you down the 50-strong start list for the first GCL round. And Thibaut Philippart comes as the opener, Leandro MDB, his young horse. Robert Murphy, he's based with Jos Atlantic. Jos flew in today. And Tara Bleicher met her mum this morning. It's a nervous feeling for the German family. Huge afternoon for her. The Shanghai Swans, they were the champions last year. Daniel Joyce was not part of the team, actually, that won the Shanghai Swans in Mexico, but he is a threat with Otello de Guldenboom. And Zoe Conter looked brilliant in Mexico, the same horse she rode in the GCL first round there, Tombola Z. And Victor Bettendorf, last year's Super Grand Prix winner in the Riyadh playoffs, he has a good horse at 24. Henrik von Eckermann, Iliana for the world number 1. They won the Gothenburg Trophy in the Scandinavian earlier this year. Ben Mayer, Max Kuhner. Watch out, the Shanghai Swans coming in strong order. And Jules Thomas, well, he won a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix last year, right here in Shanghai with Luna van het Denhoff. He'll be number 40. And late on in the start order, Max and Philip Weishaupt, the Weishaupt brothers for Riesenbeck International, who were third in Mexico. They have the late draw, which is an advantage, really, in terms of getting a feeling of the course. The facilities here, as I've indicated, are brilliant. And this is the indoor arena where there's a cool, a sense of calm. The stables are air-conditioned, but this is the US International Arena, basking in sunshine. And everybody wants to get the best seats in the house as we prepare for takeoff. The course causing discussion, no trebles out of the course this afternoon. There are 3 double combinations, however. They're all fairly mighty. There's a few late distances we'll take you through with our Trailblazer. I'm particularly interested by the one between 6, the Liverpool, down to the fence in your picture. The Global Champions plank at 7. That's 157 tall. Comes on 6 strides after a yawning ox up at 6, 150 by 155. But a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are set fair for leg 3 of the Longines Global Champions Tour here in Shanghai. And this is the first GCL round. Great to have your company. 50 starters to come forward. We have a batch of individual riders, 16 in total, prior to the 17 teams after a short break. And the young man for Belgium will get us underway this afternoon. Thibaut Philippart comes from an awesome family based at Dorp Heide in the heart of Belgium. Olivia, Nicola and Dad Ludo have all won on the Longines Global Champions Tour, the Grand Prix. But this young man is formidable. He's 23 years of age. And this is Leandro MDB to get us into action. 9-year-old gelding son of Grand Slam crossed the 8 horn. Now's the KWPN stud book. About the Little House vertical, 152 tall at the second. They then wheel back. This is big, 154 tall, the Laofeng Xiang vertical. That's substantial. 150 by 155. The Snake Oxer at 4. maybe the early venom in the course of Peter Grant. This then, the opening double in the shadows, the verticals. 154 in, 155 out. Now this, the line I talked about, 6 down to 7. Measures up beautifully for Thibaut Philippons. Now this, the roll back to 8A and B again in the shadows. That is the added difficulty for these opening two combinations. The late doublers in the blazing Chinese sunshine. We'll see later in a minute at 11A and B. Now Thibaut Philippons to post a beautiful opening clear down to the potential sting in the tail of Peter Grant's test this afternoon. Jumps through there beautifully. He's way inside time. If that information is correct, it's a very generous time allowed, certainly, because he's 9 seconds. Look at the clock. Superstar Thibaut Philippons this afternoon. We have an open clear in GCL round 1. The first individual posts a brilliant clear. In the middle of April, Efes we welcome owner-manager and rider naturally for his team, the Istanbul Warriors, but an individual. This afternoon in round 1 there could all be lots of changes. Riders and horses can all be swapped into round 2, so maybe he'll come in GCL round 2 later this evening. Cantate, the Efes gets started. Starts actually relatively late in the saddle at 14 years of age. Started as a hobby initially, but then grew into his professional career. Now this is Cantate, 15-year-old daughter of Kolensky G, crossed the Quidams at Rubin for EFA. Was 11th in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Paris last year with Independence. Sees a lovely flowing distance into 5A and B. This is their 4th season as a partnership. They started in May of 2022. A seasoned Longines Global Champions Tour and GCL pair. They jumped in Doha but missed out on Mexico City. In Doha they were 11th in the equivalent class. There's GCL round 1 individually in Qatar in the mighty El Shakab Arena. This horse just skips a little stride down into the big oxer. Now this is the home turn in effect, although there's that left-hander after 11B to the final fence, but just scalps the top of the Baoyang vertical and successive errors, 2 verticals going. 155 the fence he had down first at 10 and then 155 again at 11A. They are the 2 errors. Efes comes home 77.56 was the time for Turkey. But 2 late mistakes on Peter Grant's course for Efes in GCL round 1 here in Shanghai. Quite a warm afternoon, as we saw on the thermometer. I think the end of the course must continue to prove influential as we go on through the afternoon. Temperature will not be dropping so much, is the meteorologist's view here in Shanghai. This man is seasoned and brilliant, a former eventer of some distinction. Duarte Seabra, we welcome. Carol G, his superb initial owner in eventing here this week in Shanghai. Duarte last year, 9th in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes. With his superb Dorados. And Duarte aboard the 9-year-old Coleman son, crossed to Toulon, the brilliant dam sire. It is Cooper LB on course for Duarte. He's from Santarém in Portugal initially, 80 kilometres due to the northeast of Lisbon. The likes of Mikael Young, Peter Fredriksson, all former eventers, show jumpers, the hybrid combination. Sandra Ophar was very good in the World Cup in Gothenburg, former world champion. Sandra in eventing, so the crossover very possible, but at this elite level it's not easy. Duarte, beautiful smooth right down to 5A and B. It's a new combination since October last year, produced by fellow Portuguese rider Miguel Viana. This was his third Longines Global Champion start this season, was in both Doha and Mexico City. Duarte is idling out there. Just wants a solid clear round here aboard this 9-year-old, which is a very understandable policy. You've got to know when to chance your arm, and as an eventer he would have learned on the cross countries you just can't go for broke without getting yourself into all sorts of trouble. That's where this measured mind, I think, arises from. Duarte, in the same vein as Thibaut Philippart's, riding a steady, deliberate, clear round. The crowd clapped prematurely because he comes to the last fence right now and soars out over the back of it. Beautiful round. Down the Belgian time of Thibaut Philippart's, but it was a super planned, steady effort from Duarte Siapra. Counters home 83.27 the time for Cooper LB. It's carry number 2 of the afternoon. Great Britain comes in fours to Shanghai with the likes of Ben Mayer and Scott Brash, 2 of the legendary names of world show jumping. This young man, though, is a rising star of huge merit. Robert Murphy. He is based with Jos Lansing in Belgium. Bear in mind, Jos, the former world champion of Aachen back in '06 with Cavallor Cumano. Now, parents Peter and Elaine Murphy. His father, Peter, British eventing show jumping coach for London 2012, no less. World number 155. He's 24 years of age, so it's a big world ranking to have already achieved at a young age. This is the season that Koblenz van der Middelstede for Robert Murphy this afternoon. From a long-term partner of Darren Demersoy. I've been in partnership this pair for about a year, formed in April last year. This is their very first Longines Global Champions Tour start this afternoon, and they've made a great first half of the course. 7 so far, and like my prediction, riding fairly easy, I think, as we get into the team format where time's more of a factor, that will come down more at 7. This is their second 5-star week only as a new enough combination as well, so that is the added interest in this round and the impressive round that Robert Murphy is performing down through the final double, and this has been super smooth, and Koblenz is a big striding horse, hence has been a little bit deceptive in terms of a pretty quick time actually. 78.37 is the good effort from Robert Murphy. He coasts home into second place. He will go behind Thibaut Philippart's, but a very strong round from this talent from Preston, Lancashire, up in the northwest of England initially. He goes second, Thibaut Philippart's. 2 young guns lead us into battle here. GCL round 1 in Shanghai. I met Tiara's mother briefly in the elevator this morning in the hotel, and she was certainly nervous about this huge week for her daughter Tiara Bleicher. Understandable, she's only 20 years of age. She hails from Munich in the south of Germany and based with Simon Widman, locally to the Bavarian capital. This Oliver Van der Heike. Early mistake at the Snake Ox. This horse was the long-term partner of Italy's Riccardo Pisani. This partnership formed in July of last year. They jumped just 2 5-star Grand Prix as a new enough combination. Doha, both those Grand Prix at Al Shakab this season. Tara started riding at 8 years of age. He was discovered by the Bavarian State's trainer Martin Vogel. space for Martin. She won the individual gold. That was the European Youth Gold in 2019. The horse actually that Mikhail Jung produced. Back Daniels Jack S. Tiara runs down to 11A and B. Just the one early blemish at 4, sadly, but the significance of this week for her cannot be underestimated or understated. It's a huge affair for Tiara Bleiche, and she performs very well. One down, it is only, but this is a very cool cucumber. Still only 20, and I'm excited to see her career develop. Just for Oliver van Dijk and Tiara Bleiche, 78.98 was the time. Would have been into third, but for the fence of 4. Exciting here for the home crowd as Zhang Yifan comes in. She's 25 years of age. And the first for China here in Shanghai. GCL round 1. Zhang has jumped for just over a decade internationally. Her debut was in April 2014. And this is a massive afternoon again for her because it's her 5-star debut. Her first Longines Global Champions Tour show. Only her 3rd start at 155 level. She's jumped 2 Grand Prix at this height with this horse, both of those Grand Prix, but yeah, hold your breath, it's a big afternoon. Just Blue is on the course. The 11-year-old son of Vidal Zarocco, Blue, Vreeling's former top horse. Now, gets a turn back to 3, which comes up pretty quickly. Heard Carlos Hanguera out on the course walk saying that to Zoe Conter that vertical 3 would be quick out of the start gates. This pair together since May of last year, produced in the Netherlands by Dan van Geel. And this is their first home start as well as a combination. They've jumped exclusively in Europe prior to coming to Shanghai. Zhang Yifan down over the plank as 7. This is very composed, my word. Youthful, all of the first times you've mentioned. This is nice cold. Walk shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Scott Brash and Ben Mayer out on the course, it must just turn your guts, I can imagine, as a young rider. But this lady's showing none of that pressure at all. This is a solid round. My word, I am mighty impressed here. Zhang Yifan turns homebound. The crowd again clap a little bit early. This, the final fence, which she's going to soar out over. Met it beautifully. Brilliant round that is, bearing in mind her first 5-star start ever. What a debut. She can now break out in a smile. Well done, Zhang Yifan. 84.08, best part of 2 seconds inside the time. That is huge. Goes another young lady, 30 years of age this time, and again, Longines Global Champions Tour debutant this afternoon, GCL rookie. That is Francesco Torriello looking on. That is Clara's coach. He's helped her extensively with the psychological aspects of world-class show jumping at the back end of last year as she broke into 5-star level. Clara started jumping internationally in April 2010. She's a very good producer of young horses. She's won a lot of young horse classes internationally. And her ride, it is Quattro della Caccia on course number 8. The Italian. It's on a quick start, little rattle at the Snakehawk set back bar, but it stays. Damn side contender. She was in great form in Madrid late last season, was 6th in the winning round there, fantastic at both 4. Now it's her career high at this elite level of international show jumping. Again, a little rattle at 6, but it stays again obligingly still. This pair knew enough within 6 months of their partnership forming October last year. But that, though, the first blemish, I'm afraid. Boxer into the combination 8A and B is big. 150 by 155. Yeah, running a little bit, losing momentum. You can see that happening. The successive error at 9. McCann's got a little bit disunited, lost forward power. That is a big fence to come to, a little bit out of sorts. Bizzoli rattles into 11A, but it stays. But 8A and 9, 2 big oxers are the 2 down. Hopefully, as she comes down to the final fence, yeah, it's a way away from it. Left me a little bit open momentarily. Takes the back bar, so 3 big oxers, I'm afraid. McLaren Pizzoli. 12 penalties it will be this afternoon for the Italian. But again, a debutant on the Longines Global Champions Tour. So again, it's a fairly scary affair, I could well imagine. This lady is a young star of huge note. She's 19 years of age only and won number 253 already. Swiss-born, moved to Monaco in 2018, and that led to her nationality change to become a Monegasque. Trains with Cameron Hanley, the brilliant Irishman, and Anastasia Nielsen gets on course. The ride is My Bravo Boy PS, the PS, the Paul Schockenmöller suffix, which is a strong indicator of horse ability. Forwards great Deister in years gone by. This lady again huge because she did jump in Monaco. Last year was her Longines Global Champions Tour debut, but this, her first proper week tour to Cameron here in Shanghai. She jumped the 145 in Monaco, but now things getting very serious for Anastasia Nielsen. She is part of Deborah Mayer's Cannes Stars. Maybe we'll come back in round 2, we wait and see. This partnership formed in October 2022. Their debut at this level was at the Major League Show jumping fixture, Desert Horse Park International, mid-December last year. They were 7th there in a big jump-off class, so they are very able, if fresh to the level. Anastasia, a little half-full, losing a little bit of directionality down to 11AB, with bird's eye view down the double. Just see the horse's hindquarters skewing left, and that is a very good recovery because it got a little bit awkward into that late double. But Anastasia, yeah, erupts into a beaming smile, delighted with her start here in Shanghai. Super clear round. And wow, 3 riders in their 20s on podium. Thibaut Fullerparts, Robert Murphy, and now Anastasia Nielsen. Very cool. Cameron Hanley told me she was a real talent, and the Irish are guarded with their praise. Natalie Dean, Cannes Stars will come later. Con Calma. She was very Con Calma. Natalie for the Great Clear with the Cota M in Mexico City looks awesome. Well, this facility, the US International Equestrian Centre, as I say, was completed here 2 years ago. The architect has done a remarkable job. It is breathtaking. Now, from the golfing experience terms, we go to Eduardo Alvarez Asnar. Edu getting started. Turn 41 on the very 1st of January this year. We will go to his home city, Madrid, for leg 4, but bizarre opening early mistake. The man who was 4th in the Longines Global Champions Tour season standings last year, behind Max Kuhner, Christian Kukuk, and Jan Friedrich Meyer-Zimmermann. His rider is Kwiatkowska van der Bishop. She's a young daughter of Vigard Soy, who won the world title with Philippe Lejeune in Lexington 2010. Edu in the shadows. Normally an early mistake will wake these sharp horses into totally very careful state. That's then the problem for the riders, as you saw there, just backing off a little bit at the Liverpool Oxer. They don't like touching wood at all, they're allergic, and then they'll get airborne. That's where the rider has to clamp the legs on the side of the horse and reassure them because of their careful nature. Started at 3 years of age in the saddle. This mare, she's at her first Longines Global Champions Tour fixture. They formed as a pair in January last year. Their 5-star debut was in Basel. Started this season. They were very good in Bordeaux with 2 top 5 places in France. And their last outing was at Le Soc Hermès in Paris for 7th in the Accumulate. So an early mistake is a surprise, but okay, this mare's young. She's only 9 and she'll be a huge talent, no doubt, as Eddie looks to the other horse now after Ronfalo de Pleville, Margot reaching the end of his career. He's a great veteran, trying to now broaden his strength into the likes of the young talent that Quivita shows this afternoon.
Still dominating Great Britain second, Monaco in third, the time to be 77.28.
Now the turn of France's Ines Joly, 27 years of age and world number 153. It was her maiden Longines Global Champions Tour season last year, and what a win. Porte-Cool in Monaco with Ambassador Z. It's just been sold across to Samuel Hutton. Ambleside Sport Horses have purchased that great horse for Ines Joly.
Another young rider that we've seen over the past few seasons growing.
The very first Grand Prix with us was here in Shanghai last year with Ambassador Z. This afternoon, her right is Crack Deck, we said. Number 11 is on course. Brilliant bred stallion, some of Comme Il Faut, crossed in the Bab de Rep, so blue blood on either side. This horse had some great jockeys on him. Olivier Perrault, Julien Coutin, and Simon Delestre prior to the new pair that have formed this year. Owned by H Jumping, who's done a lot with Simon Delestre this season particularly. Their second Longines Global Champions Tour start as a pair. They were in Mexico City for their debut. And they were 10th in this very class out in Mexico. The leg 2 of this brand new 19th season. And Ines Joly, wow, fires down between 6 and 7. The first electrifying little insertion of speed we've seen this afternoon. It's a gritty, fearless rider, but I'm afraid 8A goes again. Started with a pony club taught by dad. Parents introduced her to ponies, and she sees her success as a team win for her family. Completed a nursing degree in S in 2021, worked in surgery, but then realised the double act was impossible. She's dedicated to show jumping, thankfully for the sport, because she's brilliant. One down early at 8A, but yeah, it was gutsy and quick. The time, actually, I'm a little bit surprised by, only 81.4 seconds, bearing in mind she did have a few little injections of pace out on the course. Peter Grant. This lady doesn't turn up for the beer, no question. She's here always to compete. We're still led by Thibaut Philippart, our trailblazer, unusually, because he had no benefit of seeing those that come, of course. 7:728 is the best time. GCL round 1 here individually. Coming towards the end of the individual batch of 16 combinations. But talking of raw competitors, this man is the absolute truth of that statement, because Emanuele Gaudiano getting started. The southern Italian left his native Matera at 15 years of age, riding for the Carabinieri, the red stripes down the joggers of Emanuele Gaudiano. He won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Monaco with Casper in 2016. As an Italian 1-2, Pier Giorgio Bucci second. Rolf van Bengtson was pegged back into third that afternoon. This is a very good horse, Esteban, who's on course. Manuela carves a turn to 6, sliced across the shadow. Little bulge to 7, but jumps it accurately. But opened up the getaway there, so he can get away sharp left-handed to 8A and B. This is very much travelling round, boy oh boy. Ivo Filippas' lead is going to be sailed here, surely, barring a knockdown. This horse started with Emanuele back in 2020, but is also, or has been piloted by Roberto Previtali. And look at the time here. It's going to be 6-7 seconds inside. Yeah, it is brilliant. 77.7 is the time. Emanuele Gaudiano takes a chunk out of the young Belgian's time. Really impressive. But we know this man's ability, his speed, pace ability is second to none. And again, the early statement, like we saw with NS Jolie, evidence, I think the term between 5B and 6 was, again, where we saw the intention of Emanuele Gaudiano. He leads here in Shanghai with an electrifying 70.77 second leading time. The new starter, 37 years of age, Andreas Sko, enters the heat of battle, things having warmed up significantly over the last minute or so. He is the team manager of the Basel Cosmopolitans. Marlon Morelos-Anatelli watches on as he realises this again could be a quick combination. Andreas' wife is Yannicka, his son William, daughter Selena. Studied mathematics at university. But he's got a very calm, cool head on his shoulders, the mathematician. Now, he's had a bit of a disappointing season in GCL terms because had 8 penalties in round 2, 7th in Doha. His team were right up in contention. Dropped them out of a 5-way tie for first place there. So Andreas comes with a point to prove in the GCL. This is Superb Dark Deluxe on course. He was 8th in the Longines Global Champions Tour season standings last year. And this was 2nd 2 years ago in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Madrid. Behind Edwin Tops Alexander and fellow Castlefield. And 5th in Cannes, again the Grand Prix that same year. Riesenbach Europeans 2021, Echo FEI Worlds 2022. 5th in the World Cup Finals in Omaha as well 2023. So this horse is distinguished at the highest of levels. And again, not look that quick, but deceptive because got a huge ground covering canter gallop stride. But I'm afraid time now is academic. A B scalped by the Dane. This horse, Son of Darko, contender the Dam Scion, now 14 years of age. Bred by Morten Augustinus for Andreas Sko, and the Sko Absolutes sport horses. Andreas down to the last fence. Yeah, he'll be a little bit disappointed. He was quick enough for 3rd place, but a B topples in the shadows for Andreas Sko for Denmark and Dark Deluxe. The new starter exhales. The mighty figure of Daniel Deusser enters the Just Equestrian Arena here in Shanghai. The 43-year-old was part of the winning team for the Shanghai Swans, the home team that won here last year. This horse jumped to clear round in this very GCL round 1. And Gangster had Notavel clear in round 2. Daniel had a brilliant 2nd place in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Doha with Gangster. Behind Abdul Said and Bonami, first leg this season. Equestrian family Daniel from And what a legendary career he has established. Siegfried Herröder, his first coach, then on to Frankie Slutak. Style tops with Jan Tops for many years prior to Stefax and Stefan Conter. Otello de Guldenboom makes a great start. Now Manuela Gaudiano, 70-77, leads the way here. Otello getting quite deep into the base of 5B, but careful. And then Daniel, like Emanuela Gaudiano, accelerates quickly back to 6. But then again, fingertip control down to the plank of 7 critically. 2 5-star Dutch wins this year for this pair. Jumping Amsterdam and then the Audi prize in Den Bosch. Daniel, yeah, beautiful cut line to 9. Now 4 to go, and the time 15 seconds on the clock here for Daniel Deutzer to go into first position. This is very tight. The final combination, the home turn, he's going to be ahead here, I think. Daniel Deutzer, where's the time? It's really close here. Yes, he's inside. Brilliant. 0.26 advantage. That was super cool. Daniel Deutzer nails the GCL first round. He goes straight into first position with a cool, composed display as ever. That was perfect. This man's ability is quite extraordinary. Didn't go flat the balls, but just kept the relentless pressure on. Daniel Deutzer leads. Emanuela Gaudiano and Thibaut Philippons, having led early, drops into third place. Oh, the experience, the mileage, the head on the shoulders of the tall figure. It's all there, and we see a great exhibition here in the Just International Equestrian Centre from Daniel Deutzer. Individual, and this man based for a long time alongside Daniel at Stefax Stables. There's a private yard in Antwerp in the heart of Belgium. And Lorenzo De Luca, we welcome forward. And Lorenzo, he won the Grand Prix here in Shanghai with his very good Ensor de l'Étrange. Previously, has won twice in Valkenswaard, Denver's Talma 1, spiritual capital of the Longines Global Champions Tour last year. Now, Lorenzo, this is Promise Z on course, 12-year-old daughter of Gestion Priyama Z, across the Graf Granus, number 16. 2017, the win here. Same year again, Valkenswaard, both with Ensor de l'Étrange. Now, this pair have not yet delivered at the start of this year. They were on great late form last season. 9th in Mechelen Sport Flandern Grand Prix. And 3rd and 8th at the London Excel Horse Show in the British capital in the Docklands. And Lorenzo swiftly down through 8A and B. Manuela Gaudiano lies 2nd for Italy as we stand here in Shanghai. This was last year with Jan Tops's pupil Mike Kawai. He was 14th with Mike in the Copa del Rey prestigious prize in Madrid. Lorenzo, we've seen the theme today already, 10 and 11A going in quick succession. Yeah, and I'm afraid both players, the GCL combination, are on the floor. So after a very promising start, it is going to be 12 penalties for Lorenzo De Luca. Shame, because he would have been on the podium, but for a disappointing final line. It is 12 for Promise Z. Charming Italian Lorenzo De Luca this afternoon. It's been a fascinating individual session. Only 7 clears yielded. It's about half the field so far that jumps clear around Peter Grant's test. I said it was straightforward. I thought it was big, straightforward, yes, but I thought there was enough out there to tempt combinations into trouble. We haven't yet started, of course, the team competition in earnest, so already we see the subtle demands of Peter Grant's test in full view. What a backdrop, the city. It is massive. The skyscrapers are all breathtaking. Talk to Rikke Blinde-Bach, who's been up to the third highest tower in Shanghai this week. This exhibition, the ice-cold exhibition, it was breathtakingly good from Daniel Deusser. Ottolo de Guldenboom sitting in first, 75.1. Just 0.26 behind the Italian pair, Emanuele Gaudiano and Esteban de Hus. Thibaut Philippas impressive to still be third, even though he had the disadvantage of being the first to go. As I say, about half the combinations jumping clear. Certainly we get a feel for the afternoon that lies ahead of us as we get in towards the team competition. As we have a break of 15 minutes here from the Just International Equestrian Centre. I think a perfect test from Peter Grant and his team. Peter Wong and Zhangji Shang, the team alongside Peter Grant and our spectators, are having a great time. Superb exhibition from the young Chinese rider. What a clear round that we enjoyed at her 5-star debut. Well done to Zhang Yifan, that was impressive from Just Blue. And I must say, the young guns have certainly been impressive today. Thibaut Philippas, the leading light for the youthful generation. One of 4 brothers, the Philippas twins, Nicola and Olivier, and Thibaut and Anthony, the youngest son. And Ludo's great experience, the former Olympian. Yes, that's the scene. The facility here is quite extraordinary, as I've indicated several times. I've not been here before, and I must say it takes your breath away. Custom builds finished 2 years ago, and the facilities for the horses are brilliant. I've talked to a few grooms and riders, and air-conditioned stables, the indoor arena to warm up. We have horses on levels here as well. You'll see them on the 2nd level walking around to their stables, which is again an awesome feat of engineering and architecture. The battle is certainly waging, even between individuals, prior to getting to the GCL itself here in Shanghai. Chinese hosts have been immaculate this week. It's been really good to be received so warmly. This quite extraordinary venue that the riders are all talking about, it is simply impressive. This course, as we go into the much more pressured GCL, will be taking its toll. I think 7 the plank will go more often as they try and turn then quicker into 8A and B. That plank is 7, I think, will be a hot spot of trouble. We take a short break from the action. We'll be back soon for GCL round 1, the team competition. Very close on the heels of the individual batch. We'll see you very soon. Delighted to welcome you to the Global Champions League here in Shanghai for leg 3 of the brand new 2025 season. We're at the mighty Shanghai Just International Equestrian Centre, the premier venue in Asia. The world-class show jumping was completed here, the construction in 2023. And this city, the 3rd largest worldwide, with the mighty skyscrapers alongside the centuries-old Chinese temples. And this is the aerial view of this quite phenomenal arena. The architecture here has been sensationally completed. It's a wonderful afternoon. We welcome you too. It's a warm afternoon, certainly 27 degrees. And just a light breeze, but you can't feel it in here because there's an amphitheatre feeling. The overhang over the grandstand certainly give a little bit of shadow to the course as well, that's keeping us clear of the breeze. But there are air-conditioned stables that every need is attended to here. And yes, the home team, the Shanghai Swans, they won the last edition. This is edition 6 because 2016 through to 19 we had the 4 editions. We then had the hiatus because of coronavirus, but then the 5th edition here last year. So different teams have won on every occasion here in Shanghai. And our crowd is set because the course is proving influential. It walked big but straightforward. I think no real surprises for anybody in terms of height or technicality, but it's already having an influence. As we've seen, about half the individuals having clear rounds, but now things really up in intensity because everybody's trying to chase the Cannes Stars. They won in Doha. They were the season's champions last year after a brilliant season with 4 wins. Here's the confirmation. Cannes Stars, they were 2nd in Mexico City behind Shanghai Swans. Because of that win, Christian Alman alongside Max Kuhn and Katarina Ronberg, the debutante, a pair of Austrians, and Christian. Prague Lions had a great 2nd in Doha. They are poised to attack here. Doha Falcons, they are an improving team this year. Disappointing at home, but then went much better in Mexico. Paris Panthers, they are trying to catch up as our back markers. But now the course of Peter Grant from Canada here in the Just International Equestrian Centre. It's a jewel of an arena. It feels compact, but it's spacious for this GCL Round 1 track of 155 tall, that is 535 metres. They start out over the Oxa. Fence number 1 is big, 145 square, the Just Sports Oxa. The long run down to 2, that is the Little House vertical, 152 tall. The rollback ahead of the in-gate is tall at 154, the Laofeng Xiang vertical. That started in 1848, that company. They then run down to fence 4 on 7 strides, that is the Snake Oxa. It's caused influence already at 4, 150 by 155 its width. They then roll back to the first of the 3 double combinations, 5A and B in the shade, the verticals. 154 in, 155 out on an 8-metre 4 distance. They'll then turn this turn now, scalp inside the line on your graphic as time becomes crucial. Back to the Liverpool at 6, the Shanghai fence 150 by 155. And 6 strides down to that very tall plank. The global champions into the face of the in-gate is not easy. Then the second double, 8A and B. 8A's come down a few times already. 150 by 155, 2 strides then, 11 metres and 5 it is. Down to 8B, 155 tall exiting, again in the shadows. They then turn left-handed into this very big Oxa. Fence 9, 150 by 160. Looks imposing and has caused again a little bit of bother already this afternoon. This the home turn, 10 is massive. The Bao Young vertical 155 tall. And then they'll run down with 7 strides to this last combination, the double, 11A and B, 155 in, 150 by 155 out. And this is a 1-stride distance. Certainly 8 metres and 1 is the exact measurement through there. But again, not easy at the end of this long effort this afternoon. This the home turn. The Longines Oxa is the final fence at 12, 152 by 160. There's plenty to do, as we've seen already. That is a test of Peter Grant from Canada and his team, Peter Wong and Zhan Zishang. That's the man. He's got everybody scratching their heads this afternoon. He's known for building demanding courses. You've got to separate the best in the business. The question put to Ben Mayer yesterday was the final round of the Olympics too big? And Ben was like, no, because that is what you've got to produce. But this now, the start order. Saint-Tropez Pirates looking to improve on a disappointing start for them. Philippe Rosier and Mariano Martinez Bastida. The Falcons again, an improving commodity. Valant Vermeer and Julien Coutin. It's a very good horse, Blood Diamant Dupont will jump in both rounds. Talking to Julien yesterday, Mexico Amigos have been good. They had a very good fifth at home in Mexico City. And Carlos Anguero and the engaged couple, Zoe Conte, side by side. Paris Panthers are back. Markers looking for a better performance. They were good in Mexico for 13th after a disappointing start in Doha. Madrid in Motion were very good for 4th in Mexico City. Ana Fernandez Sarro and Victor Bettendorf looked like an interesting pair for them. Istanbul Warriors, the formidable Henry von Eckermann and Iliana, and Simon de Lestra. He's had a brilliant season. The Scandinavian Vikings, they led after round 1 in Doha, 8th ultimately, and they were 16th in Mexico, so looking to improve. Stockholm Hawks, the home rider Xin Yupang and Nicola Philipparts. They were the GCL winners last year at the playoffs. Shanghai Swans looking to continue their run from Mexico City. Ben Mayer and Max Kuhner together, and New York Empire, Dennis Lynch and Scott Brash. They have got experience. Can Stars, the season leaders, Natalie Dean and Jan Fredrik Meyer Zimmermann, the young and an old horse, and Rome Gladiators, two very capable ladies from Switzerland and Denmark, Nadia Peter Steiner and Rika Blenda Barker. Valkenswaard United, a gulf again in mileage. Gilles Thomas, who won the Grand Prix here, next to Marcus Enning. Prague Lions were second in Doha, Niels Brussels, alongside Thibaut Spitz. Late in the draw, that pair I like the look of, Michael Duffy, the Irishman, and the former Pan American double gold medal winner, Marlon Medolo Zanotelli. Monaco Comets, Deborah Myers, brilliant team powered by Iron Dames, Edwina Tops-Alexander alongside Angela Gorks and Zanotelli. And the brothers are the last pair to go, Philip and Max Weishaupt. They were third in Mexico, Riesenbeck International. Well, asked by Rupert Bell in the studio prior to commentary who I thought would win. And I must say, I said it would be a fool's errand to pick a winner this afternoon. I'll stick with that statement. It's wide open. And great to have your company here in the JUS International Equestrian Centre in Shanghai. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and the Saint-Tropez Pirates in the very good hands, Philippe Rosier and Mariano Martinez Bastida. Two seasoned horses in Dirty Sweet at 12 and Jup at 11. So they come in meaning very serious business this afternoon. Philippe turned 62 years of age in early February this year. That man, well, his 5-star win at the London International Horse Show last year was his maiden 5-star victory. Will come in a moment. Mariano Martinez Bastida. This pair were 10th in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix last year in Paris, but it's a very surprising early mistake for Philippe Rosier. But Dirty Sweet has been in erratic late form. Had a couple of retirements in Paris at Le Sceau Hermès in late March, so he's been a little bit out of sorts since this new season. The pressure of team participation cannot be underestimated. It's only leg 3, so teams again just scrabbling for form a little bit at the start of this season. Not everybody, of course, the likes of Can Stars. Monaco Comets looking brilliant, and Shanghai Swans, but there's plenty to do this year. And I think even for the likes of Philippe Rosier, the great veteran, it's a nerve-jangling affair. I'm not saying that's the reason for the early mistake, but cauldron of factors that come together at this level is deep, and even Philippe Rosier's experience, I think, is influential. Dirty Sweet, son of Korn-Spensky, daughter of Korn-Spensky, I apologise, the fairer sex. L'Avion, the dam sire, rattles the vertical, very big at 10, the Baojun 155 to a vertical, but it stays. Philippe Rosier comes home. But the first fence is the only disappointment, I'm afraid, for Saint-Tropez Pirates. A little cuss for the Frenchman. 4 penalties for Philippe Rosier and Dirty Sweet to get the GCL round 1 team started this afternoon in Shanghai. This man is a GCL rookie this season. He's from Madrid, 20 minutes or so outside of the city for leg 4 this Longines Global Champions Tour season. It's Cameron Hanley watching on there. In the shades, one of the 5 out on the kiss and cry for this brilliant Spaniard. Now, this pair, they won the London Grand Prix. That was Mariano's very first 5-star Grand Prix career win, December last year. This horse has been a little bit disappointing start of the GCL season. Had a couple down in the second round in Doha, and 3 down in Mexico City. And they just breathe on top of 3, but it stays. Needs to. They don't want to drop any lower than 4 penalties here, because this start field is uber competitive. Not sure what uber competitive means actually. It's just very strong. There's no such thing as overly competitive. Mariano down to 6, meets it on a tight distance. The GCL form this year has been a bit bizarre because it's been in good individual form. They had a 4-star win in Doha start of the year, a 3rd again at Archer Cup in the Prix Hermès-Cellier in February in a 5-star class. So again, that speaks to the pressure that everybody feels here, wherever we are on the Global Champions Tour. Mariano Martinez Bastida now homebound and still clear here. Important clear. Can he manufacture it? The final fence. Yes, a whistle from the onlooker to tell him time is not overly on his side, but he's inside. Very clear round. Yes, this is a competition against the clock, but you can jump 4 clears as the Shanghai Swans did en route to victory last year. The only team that did that here last year for edition 5. You're in business, certainly. Very well done to Mariano Martinez Bastida. He keeps the Saint-Tropez Pirates on 4 after the first fence fell for Rosier this afternoon.
Well, a pretty good start, it has to be said, for Saint-Tropez Pirates. But if you want to continue watching the rest of this first round and the rest of the competition, then please do tune in to Global Champions TV. GCTV, subscribe away and you'll enjoy one heck of a competition.